The fact that Trump supporters think that Biden was some kind of mentally declined moron and Trump is a genius is so fucking hysterical. And I love how Trump's entire life can be summed up by pot calling the kettle black. Because as I pointed out earlier, Trump and the Republicans on the Oversight Committee are calling Biden's actions like his auto pen pardons illegitimate because they said, well, he was going through cognitive decline. Even though Biden immediately responded and said, no, I meant all of those pardons, they're legitimate. But like I said, since George W. Bush, AutoPen has been in regular use by every president, including Trump. But stupidly, the Republicans tried coming after Biden for using AutoPen while he was in office, claiming, well, if he can't sign things, then he must be in mental decline. But not only has every single president since then used AutoPen, including Trump, but Trump himself used AutoPen to pardon 1,600 insurrectionists. And while Trump is sitting here trying to revoke these pardons because he just wants to throw more of his political enemies in jail, but totally not a tyrant, mind you, he completely misses the irony of himself trying to issue a bunch of unconstitutional executive orders and decrees from his throne of skulls, while the Prime Minister of Japan has to lead him around like one of his handlers because the lights are on but nobody's home. And when he gets up in front of the troops and rambles incoherently about nothing, and then says, we're going to deploy the National Guard and the military to U.S. cities, whether they like it or not. Totally not a tyrant, though. They want to pretend that Joe Biden was in mental decline, while Trump is rambling incoherently, wandering around in circles, forgetting people's names, forgetting where he is, and admitting to people that he's openly a fascist. And they don't even have a single shred of self-reflection to ask themselves, what would have happened if Biden had done this? Remember, the MAGA were calling for Biden to be charged with treason when Fox News said that he was coming for your burgers. Meanwhile, Trump is continuing to fuck over the farmers, and especially the beef farmers in America, by just making up for the tariffs by importing a bunch of beef from Argentina. Absolute crickets from his sycophantic bootlickers. But imagine for a second if Biden had released the National Guard and the military on peaceful citizens. If Biden had a private army of masked people throwing people into unmarked vans. And if those masked individuals that Biden sent out went up to people on protests and said, bang, bang, you're dead, conservative. Do you think the MAGA would be telling everybody it's totally fine and we're overreacting? Personally, I think they'd be grabbing their Confederate flags and storming the nearest Waffle House.